6 scientific reasons a child needs to train martial arts. So a lot of parents don't understand the benefits. And to be honest with you, most parents don't put them in our programs to learn martial arts. They put them in the programs to fix problems. And
Yeah.
that is our job, is to fix those problems. Okay. So let's identify what some of these problems are that teaching martial arts can address. So number one, children who practice martial arts are less likely to face hardships as an adult. And I pulled up this list because I was looking at how many successful people did martial arts in their youth, because it teaches so much structure and discipline and mindset that carries over to
Mm.
adulthood. And generally, you're going to see a successful adult if their childhood had a lot of structure and discipline in it, right? So
Mm.
one, they're less likely to face hardships as an adult. Two, they're going to have a better memory and emotional control as adults. It's kind of going to play a lot of stuff that me and Sam's already been saying. It's just showing that this is a big picture. I think Jessica mentioned, you always tell your kids, I'm focused on the big picture, not the small picture, right? I'm trying to
Mm.
raise good humans. I want a good society for not only me, but for you and then your grandchildren. So better memory and emotional control as adults. Three, they're less likely to suffer from depression later on in life, which is an epidemic right now. So
Wow. That's a big one.
that's huge. That is huge. Yeah. And a lot of that's isolation, lack of physical activity, lack of self-confidence. And so martial arts, you're forced to get to know people pretty closely in jiu-jitsu. So,
Yeah. I mean, if you've been stuck at home and isolating for this shutdown, go out and find your nearest martial arts academy for sure.
for sure. Yeah.
You need, like,
I,
it's
you know,
crazy.
interesting. I have because I'm by Ellington Air Force Base. I have a lot of military people that get transferred here, and the reason they join me is to meet people. Like I got nothing else to
Yeah.
do. I might as well just join a jiu-jitsu academy and get friends, and I got something to do every
The
night.
bars aren't open, even though it's unhealthy way to meet people.
That's right.
Drinking is unhealthy, but
It's not healthy at all.
no,
That
like
might be our next Monday
all
discussion.
all we heard about I mean, before the Corona thing, like for the years, all I heard about was like mental health and awareness, mental health
Yeah,
awareness. And then this epidemic, like no one said the big problems are like, in my opinion, these are the biggest problems that we're ignoring.
absolutely.
And
Well, and the suicide
yeah,
rates went through the roof during this quarantine.
yeah,
Really bad. Number four, children will have a healthier self-esteem as they get later on in life. Again, it kind of comes back to, if you know you can physically protect yourself, you already feel more confident and your self-esteem is better. It's just a proven fact. It's one reason why people wear guns all the time. They want to feel stronger than they really are. That is like their shield protecting their ego a little bit. But if you take that gun away, which can be easily done, they're left with nothing. So it's important to have that base in contact first, right? So healthy self-esteem later in life.
well,
That's
I
number
think
four.
that's a good tie-in. I think that's a really cool, whatever the word for it is,
Segue. I don't know.
gun ownership. And what ties, I think it's similar, because you have the power to defend yourself with a gun or with jiu-jitsu, not only yourself empowered, but you feel more responsibility. Like, I have a responsibility to not engage in a fight, because I don't need to, number one, prove myself. I don't need, obviously, if you can pull the trigger, you can end someone's life. You know that.
Yeah,
If you're a person that owns a gun that's responsible, which is most people are, if they own a gun and carry a gun, they know that they can end someone's life. So they're not going to be like, with this extra responsibility, I'm going to just be flagrantly like irresponsible and pull my gun out on people all the time, and like make situations more dangerous or more volatile, or possibly and then tragedy, or you know what I mean.
yeah,
They're more conscientious of, like, life is precious. Like, I have a gun, like I could end someone's life, but I also can protect my own. Like, you have a sense that you value the life, and then I also have a sense, like, I value um, my safety, as I know that it can go wrong, even though I know most, like 90% of the people, maybe like it's more, the people I'm going to encounter in the street, I can handle myself. There's still a likelihood that, one, they have like a weapon, I get stabbed or whatever. I hit my head on the ground when whatever, something weird happens, or I hit something that I don't see. we get hurt, we just get hurt, wrestling around with somebody in a street fight. You're
Yeah.
going to get hurt. And you know that because you train. You know that like the likelihood of and we train and we get our bodies so broken down and beat up from training that we know how likely it is that we're going to get hurt in a street fight because there's no padding, there's no safety measures, there's no rules. Like, we're going to survive, and I'm probably going to mess the other guy up a lot more than I messed up. But I'm still probably going to get messed up, and I don't want to walk around and be messed up just for my ego to feel better. Like it's like this similar with the gun thing. Is like, I don't want to have to end someone's life. I know I can end someone's life, but I know that I'm also protecting my life. So
Right.
It's like I don't think it does the same thing as people think. Is like, oh, is it going to make you want to fight? If you fight all the time, you're going to be looking for a fight everywhere you go. Like, that's the opposite. Like, we are not looking I don't want to look for a fight anywhere. I go to the gym and I have like monsters beat me up every day. Like, I don't want to go and have to beat someone up on the street. Like, I'm not interested in that
Right.
at all. Like,
for a temporary problem.
Right.
It's a temporary
when
problem.
I could walk away, run. You know how many times I've walked away or run away from fights? Like, a lot of times, so
Yeah.
it's better than ignoring people. Yeah. Like, whatever.
Really
They said something offensive, but whatever.
That's right. All right. Number 5, they're more likely to be goal-oriented adults. Okay, because martial arts has a hierarchy, has a progress, a belt system, which teaches you to set goals. So karate has a lot of belts. Jiu-jitsu has about 12 for the kids program, and then they have, what is it, white, blue, brown, five for adults.
Yeah.
So, and then there's little goals, and you got your stripes in there. So what you're doing is you're programming your child for progression in life, that you have little simple tasks, and that if you put your time in, you understand your systems, you get rewarded, and then you get better at what you're doing. And so when they learn that, and they're in a martial art program for 5 years, that's 5 years you're training not only their body, but their mind on progression, on tasks, on goals, and also how to be healthy. So it's really important that is a large part of their development, especially between that 6 to 12 years of age, where the major development happens. And that's why
what we're talking about. We were talking about that earlier too. Like, you're learning little by little. Doesn't matter what it is, but every day, every class, you're like, oh, I'm learning a new move. I'm learning a new position, or a little new detail, or I'm reinforcing things I've already learned. So it's like that same thing about learning something every day. Like, you need to be like having that conditioning that muscle. I'm learning every day. Like, I'm already ready to, like readying myself, and I know I'm used to it. So.
I'm going a little tangent for getting the 6th one, but it's something that's always bothering me. I love podcasts. I love the fact that is our new way of getting education, as long as you got a good one. Whereas it used to be the TV, the news. Whereas a lot of these guys, and I have some close friends like this, they listen to ESPN all day long. It is the bulk of information going into their brain is sports, stats, games, and it's just repetitive. I said, and I would tell them, dude, put that crap down. Go listen to a Joe Rogan podcast for 2 hours, and then tell me how much more information you got in those 2 hours than listen to the same crap over and over and over, right? So I'm always for education. I like to learn. I'll get in my massage chair, put on a podcast. I drive, put on a podcast. I love learning.
Be selective for sure. Like, there's also plenty of podcasts out there that is nonsense, that are just like the ESPN thing. And some Joe Rogan podcasts, honestly, I've given them 5 minutes. I'm like, this is not going to be worth my time. Shut them off. But like, if they're interesting guests, if they're not just completely whatever messed up on drugs out of their mind,
I'm the same way.
Like, you're going to get something out of it. But yeah, for sure. Like, using your time to learn things, man, it's like, how productive. What is my value that I contribute to the economy is how much I make. Number one, like, if I want to be rich or whatever, am I productive? Am I creating value for my employer or for myself as an entrepreneur? I can bring more value to the table if I know more, if I have a different perspective than I wouldn't have had before, if I have like more tools and more information, like, so I don't think they value that learning, like you said, instead of what can you replace TV watching, what can you replace video game playing? Not that those are inherently bad. What's bad is the fact that you're taking opportunities, a time slot out from your life every day that's a giant waste of time, when you could be improving, you could be investing in yourself, learning, and creating or making yourself more valuable, more effective, human being or producer,
Absolutely. It's huge.
Yeah.
It's easier, I think, as an older adult. It's hard to get your children to understand that value in time because they just don't,
Yeah. Because
especially
it
if
feels
they're in
like time
school
will
all
just
day.
go forever. Yeah. Home all day long. There's no school. Like time. What time is it? Day or night? I'm in my room on the video games all day.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
So,
crazy. Yeah.
last one, number 6. This one here. um, Children who practice martial arts develop social skills that may help determine their future. This is huge. I think about this, where society's going in the next 10, 20 years. I'm curious how that dynamic's going to change, but certainly in the past 40, 50 years, sales and social communication, just confidence in talking to someone can really make you a lot of money in your career. It can create a lot of opportunities, develop a lot of resources, and if you don't have that social skill, everything's much harder. Just from interviewing, being able to interview is very difficult if you don't have any social skills. If you can't make them
Yeah.
laugh, you can't show them that you're a confident person, that you're task oriented, then the likelihood of them choosing you over someone who is going to be very slim. Now, the reason why I say I don't know where it's going to go in the next 20 years, because artificial intelligence is going to change the game in a lot of industries, but I still think that communication is key across the board, and that's huge.
Yeah. But even then, I think with our relationships, with our even interpersonal, like in the family unit as well, like or a significant other, like that's invaluable skills. Regardless of the outside of work environment. Can you communicate well? Can you express your feelings? Can you communicate without getting emotional? Because are you used to developing those tools? You know, introverted people. I was introverted for a long time when I was a kid. I was super introverted, and I never, I had a hard time adjusting as a young adult, like speaking to people, and like when I was in university, like I had to do that kind of stuff for groups. Like I really didn't like it. To jujitsu, obviously, and teaching, that's been easier for me.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, this is like a huge skill. I think it's like with the fact that there's programming and a lot of uh, other skill sets are valuable and going to be valuable. You also need to be able to like communicate and understand really well what your job is supposed to be, like with your manager or whatever your other coworkers. You need to be able to get identify the task and understand what your job is and be effective. Because it doesn't matter how good you are at that if you're not able to like receive the plan and the objective and the goal. What am I trying to do? You're not able to understand, or you're not able to communicate properly. You're not going to be effective. It doesn't matter what job you have really. So